get the 2023 Clownfish comic books, including Crimson Wren Volume 1 and previously on Clownfish TV. We're offering a limited number of these books. In our second chance offer, go to shopclownfish.com. That's shopclownfish.com. Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Neon. I am not here with Geeky Sparkles, so we're going to talk about Space Daddy. We're going to talk about Twitter, and we're going to talk about how Elon Musk is ending Twitter. He's rebranding it as X, just X. Yeah, just X, x.com. We're going to talk about this because this was speculated to be the reason he was interested in buying Twitter in the first place. Musk is a very successful businessman, and he knows that sometimes it's cheaper just to buy an existing thing and repurpose it or rebrand it than it is to build it from the ground up. And he wanted to build the X platform, which is supposed to be, I guess, an everything app, a payment processor, a social media app. It's supposed to be like WeChat, I guess, is what we're talking about, kind of the American or Western version of that. And now the day has come that he is telling everyone he's going to kill the bird. The bird is dead. It is an X bird, as a lot of people have been observing. And that means that this is pretty much the end of Twitter. This is it. This is, Twitter is changing into something else, and what it's going to be going forward, I have no idea. But I think it's going to involve a lot of things that a lot of people on Twitter currently don't like. For example, blockchain and AI. Given Elon Musk's proclivities, right? I think that is what's going to be assumed will be rolled into this app. X.com was originally the name of PayPal, which he worked on back in the day, and he bought the domain back from PayPal, as I understand it. Now he's going to convert everything to X.com. He actually told his employees that Twitter is no more. It's going to be X.com. Now, we haven't seen the total rebrand yet, but yeah, that's it, man. It's over. And if there ever was a time to jump ship, if you've been critical of Elon Musk, if you've been holding out hope that Twitter was going to go back to what Twitter was before Elon Musk, a couple of years before Elon Musk, right? The shit show that it was, now is a great place to jump off, because we're going to have a whole new shit show to contend with. So Let's talk about this. Before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. Guys, go out to shopclownfish.com. Check out our second chance offer for Crimson Wren and previously on Clownfish TV. This is coming from The Verge. Twitter is being rebranded as X after Elon tweeted about it all night. The bird site is shedding its feathers, and he did. He was tweeting about it. This is the message here. He wanted different versions of X, and yeah, he just kept going on and on and on and on and on. And I think the internet is changing much faster than any one of us can imagine. What the final incarnation is going to look like. We're definitely entering a new phase of the internet. This feels like the kind of seismic shift that we had in 2000, 2001, leading into the era of social media. I think we're nearing the end of centralized social media. And people were asking me, I don't know why they're asking me, but they were asking me, I appreciate it, but I'm no expert, but they were asking me what I think is going to happen. I think we're going to have a more decentralized internet. I think we're going to have pockets of men, warring factions of men and women and other kins all over the internet. And everybody's going to kind of have their own community again, like we used to have, and everything is going to be more decentralized. I don't think it's sustainable to have a company like Facebook or Google be the gatekeepers to the entire internet. And that is, I think, what we're going to see a huge fundamental shift in the power structure, going forward. Now, the problem with that for some people is going to be that you're going to have to build your own communities up. You're going to have to build your own stuff again. You're probably going to have to pay for stuff, pay for hosting, pay for services, as we're seeing with Twitter. And people don't like to pay for things, especially if it's been free for as long as they can remember. But I think we're looking at a future potentially without Facebook, potentially without Google, or at least not them being as big and powerful as they are now. I mean, it was unthinkable to think of an internet without GeoCities. It was unthinkable to think of an internet without MySpace, but here we are. And I think the reason that Elon is speeding this up, in my opinion, is because of Threads, because of Zuckerberg kind of throwing down the gauntlet. But this always was the plan, as I understand it, that he was going to buy Twitter, he was going to rehabilitate it, or take a wrecking ball to it, however you want to look at it, and turn it into something else entirely. So this is effectively the end of Twitter. Coming from the Verge, X.com now redirects to Twitter.com following a tweet from Twitter owner Elon Musk today, and an interim X logo will replace the Twitter bird logo later today. As of recording this video, it has not. Leading up to the change, Musk spent a lot of time tweeting about it. What are we going to call it now? Xing about it? I don't know what we're going to call it. Around 12 a.m. Eastern, late last night, he started tweeting and did so for hours about the Twitter rebrand to X, the one-letter name he's used repeatedly in company and product names forever. It started with a tweet saying, "Soon we shall bid adieu to the Twitter brand and gradually all the birds," followed by a second tweet adding that if a good enough X logo is posted tonight, we'll make it go live worldwide tomorrow. Musk then, over the next several hours, gestured at the change in between other posts and replies, tweeting things like Deus Ex or replying to other users about it. At one point, he joined a Twitter Spaces session called "No One Talk Until We Summon Elon Musk," and sat silently for almost an hour before unmuting and confirming he would be changing Twitter's logo tomorrow, adding, "We're cutting the Twitter logo from the building with blowtorches." Oh, well, that's pretty awesome. It's not going to be Titter either. Musk also reportedly sent an email last night to Twitter employees telling them the company would become X and that it was the last time he would email from a Twitter address, according to a Threads post. Okay, sorry, just the irony in that. According to a Threads post from platformer managing editor Zoe Schiffer, she added that she assumes he was talking about the logo since Twitter's business was already renamed X Corp. As for what the new logo is going to look like, Musk didn't comment specifically, but pinned a GIF that was posted by Sawyer Merritt, a Twitter user who offered the logo, and said it was used for his discontinued podcast. The letter X has been on just about everything Musk has touched, including his kids. Not that he's touched his kids like that, just saying one of his kids is named X, right? Anyway, he said, he wanted to turn Twitter into the everything app called X, and now he's finally doing something with the X.com domain he bought back from PayPal in 2017. Finally, rebranding the site will be the clearest declaration yet that this is no longer the same social network it was before Musk purchased it last year. This is the end of Twitter. But it's far from the only change in the Musk era of Twitter. More recently, Twitter said it would limit the number of DMs for non-paying users. Again, things are going to look very different going forward on the internet. This is not going to be unique. As these companies get pinched for advertising revenue, as advertisers take their money from sites like Facebook and possibly Twitter, and they go to individual influencers and they cut brand deals, you're going to see everybody have to charge. The days of, there's a difference between a free and open internet and a bunch of freeloaders using the internet. And the reason I believe the internet has become as centralized as it has become is because nobody wanted to build their own shit. Nobody wanted to host their own websites. Everybody wanted to use social media. I've seen people, especially, we talked about this in the webcomic space years ago. Everybody was jumping ship. They were torching their comic book websites, their webcomic sites, and going to like Tapas or Webtoon or whatever. And that's fine. That's great. But realize that those sites could go under any time. They could pull your content off at any time. The reason why it's so scary to be a YouTube content creator is what's the backup? back in the day, a lot of people that created content on YouTube also had their own websites, and they hosted their own videos. They mirrored them on their own websites. Rooster Teeth did this before YouTube, and now we're looking at, everybody has to be on these platforms. And as soon as they decide they don't want to pay you anymore, they want to gatekeep your content, then it makes it very hard to get found. And I think what we're going to have is a very, very different internet after this. And I think we're going to have an internet that looks a lot more like the internet of the late 90s and early 2000s. I know a lot of you are way younger than I am, and you don't remember that, but I was building websites back then when it first started. And it was a very, very different time. A very different time. Pretty soon, the site is going to let you post very long, complex articles. The article feature seemed to be called Articles, but at one point was apparently called Notes, the name for article site Substack's Twitter clone, the debut of which you may remember was a little dramatic. We've reached out to Twitter for comment. We'll get back to you soon, so I'm thinking tomorrow, Monday, the shiznit's gonna hit the fan. So a lot of people are thinking that, or they thought that Threads was going to come in and destroy Twitter, and that's not really the case. I think on some level, Elon Musk has destroyed Twitter himself. But it's going to be a very different site. And I said this before when he bought Twitter. I said, this is like Good Bones, the show Good Bones. It's a house flipping show that my wife watches, and they go in and they buy dumps and they renovate them and they turn them into something really cool, but they'll buy it if the structure is good. In the case of Twitter, the structure was good, but the rot and the mildew was all the way to the freaking core, and they had to gut that. They had to take it out. They had to rip it out. So, I mean, whatever is going to be, left of Twitter, I think we're going to have the skeleton of Twitter inside this new platform, and it's going to be pay to play, pay to win going forward. And people are going to try to go elsewhere, and they're going to try to find something that's like Twitter from 2 years ago. And I don't think they're going to find it, because I don't think anybody can afford to do that anymore. And even if you do find that, I don't think it's going to have the user base, and Threads is kind of dead on arrival. And again, Threads has a lot of the same problems that Twitter has, so you've got Facebook control and everything. And Facebook is worse than Twitter. You think Twitter is bad? When it comes to your privacy, freaking Facebook, man, they're like the worst out there. You're really going to put all your eggs into that basket? I mean, there's a reason that a lot of content creators don't even post videos on Facebook anymore. There's a reason that their gaming died, because nobody trusted Facebook, to be honest about numbers and not to. We had an issue with Facebook multiple times with their advertising. Like, we would pay them to advertise a certain demographic. They would advertise to people like way outside that demographic, and they would still charge us for it and be like, whoopsie doopsie. It's like, no, you're just taking people's money and you're not giving them anything in return there, Facebook. You're not. So this is going to be very interesting. I am very curious to see what this is going to be like. I know I did say, no, I'll own it. I did say that I wasn't going to be using Twitter a whole lot because I didn't see any substantial change. When Musk announced that he was going to, let creators make money, and that when I saw that they were making substantial changes to the site, I decided I was going to give it another shot. We'll see where it goes. I may decide after 6 months I freaking hate it. I do think a lot of the crazy people are going to be driven out. I'm going to be honest. I think they're going to leave. I think it's going to be harder to create sock puppet accounts. And I don't think there's going to be a lot of an incentive to stay on a platform that is going to be very pro-capitalism. Like, you're going to have to pay to do freaking anything on this platform, but it might be the best deal in town. If you want to get found, if you want your content to get found, it might be the best deal in town. Maybe, possibly. I don't know. Or it could be that we look back at this moment and we're like, oh yeah, there's the moment where Elon just literally pissed away $44 billion. And, so I have no idea. I have no idea what's going to happen, but, I'm willing to stick it out for a while. So far, I have not had as negative of experiences on Twitter as I did even 6 months ago. Now, we get the random crazies here and there, but I'm not seeing the sock puppet accounts and the dog piling and the shit, because I think those people realize they're not going to be able to get away with it for much longer, and they also realize that they're in enemy territory. right? A lot of these people are totally in enemy territory at this point because of Musk and his own political affiliations, and some of the wrong thinkers being left back on the platform. And we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. But between this and journalists being shut down hard, all these websites going out of business, because a lot of these websites, obviously were dependent on like Facebook traffic and Twitter traffic and on all of that, and venture capital for sure to promote and boost all this stuff. Everything is changing. I think it's a really good time to be an independent content creator. I think it's very exciting. I think that the playing field is going to be leveled again, just like it was in 2000, 2001. So if you're thinking about getting your stuff out there, build your own house, build your own stuff, build your own lemonade stand, however you want to phrase it. The people who actually can build their own stuff will survive this incarnation of the internet. If you can't do shit for yourself and you need to use somebody else's platform and you need to use somebody else's forum and you need to use somebody else's hosting and if you can't do anything for yourself, you're fucked. You pretty much are, because it's going to be pay to play going forward out of necessity. The only reason the internet has been free, quote unquote, free for you for as long as it has been, is other people were paying for it, and they don't have that luxury anymore. So I'm going to wrap this up. Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. We'll talk later. Help support the channel. Go to thereef.support and get early access to podcasts, videos, and other content. That's thereef.support.